Hey everyone, it is Wednesday, November 8th. The time is 12:16 p.m. and the temperature right now is around 1 degree Celsius. That would make today one of the coldest days we've had in a while. Here's the Volkswagen Passat I have rented, and yesterday I took it out to Niagara Falls and back. And this here is the Yonge Corporate Center, at least I think that's what it's called. And this has the distinction of being the last office I ever worked at before I quit to go full-time on this channel. I still remember the day I rode down here on my bike with my laptop on me, and the office was pretty much closed down except for 2 people, as it was early on during COVID when everyone was working from home. But anywho, for this one, I'll be hopping in this car and we're going to go for a spin around the 4 most major highways through the city of Toronto. I'm going to drive north up to the 401, and then it'll be over to the DVP, down to the Gardiner, over to the 427, and back up north to the 401. So it's going to be a complete circuit if all goes to plan. And I recorded a video yesterday driving from Midtown Toronto to Niagara Falls, but I hadn't yet figured out the best way to mount the Osmo Pocket 3 there. I think I've figured it out a little bit better today. So let's switch cameras. I'm also recording this with a Pocket 3, but let me switch over to the one that I have mounted and we'll get moving. All right, I think I've got us set up here. I'm also gonna start the Strava app. I've inputted this as an e-bike ride, just so I can report what the distance traveled was. I think we're ready to go. I want to go left here because if I go straight, I'll have to turn right onto Yonge Street. This is the coldest day we've had in quite a while. So Highway 401, the busiest highway in North America, is just north of here. I'll be on there in a second, and then I'll head east to the DVP. And I did not check the traffic on Google Maps or Waves before I set out to record this, so I have no idea if this is going to be smooth sailing or not. And I've got to get this car back by 2 p.m. with a full tank of gas. I can't imagine we'll have any problems completing that mission. I just wasn't too happy with the way that Toronto to Niagara Falls video turned out. There was a reflection from my mounting bracket on the windshield the whole ride. And I realized there was a much better way to mount it, so hopefully I've figured that out for this one. I think I've got the heat on a little strong. East, turn right. That is us. And I'll be hopefully getting off right at this spot. only appropriate. I'm in a vehicle with Quebec plates, and we just hit a no right on red light sign. Might hear a little bit of creaking coming from the glove box. Couldn't really figure out how to stop that. Like that, no pedestrians, no bicycles. No shit. And we are on the 401. These would be the collector lanes. The ones just to the left of that divider there, a few lanes over, are the express. See, it's now 12:25. We'll see how long it takes to complete the circuit. But this is not something you would want to do at rush hour, as the DVP coming up has been nicknamed the Don Valley parking lot. But we'll be merging onto the DVP, which is to the right pretty soon. Guess I came over a little prematurely. All those towers up at the top left of the picture are around Fairview Mall. And north of the 401, the DVP turns into the 404. So this is a provincially controlled highway we're on right now, but the DVP is owned, operated, and patrolled by the city, as will be the Gardiner Expressway to the south. But the 427, the third highway on this leg, is another provincial highway. I guess there's also the 404 and the Allen and a few other less major highways in the city, but these are the big four we're covering. Sign here says 404 north to Newmarket, keep right, or the Don Valley Parkway, keep right. Heat just kicked up. And this, when traffic is flowing, is a pretty awesome drive. It's kind of windy and downhill a little bit. It kind of slaloms through the Don Valley. Hence the name, Don Valley Parkway. The car behind me decided it was going to cross that solid line, and now it is right on my tail. Screw you, buddy. Ooh, some of that famous Toronto traffic already. This is what Tom Cruise was talking about. Hopefully this clears up. And this lane I'm in is about to end, and I've got a big 18-wheeler on my left. Got the signal on. Little thank you wave to that guy. There's the jerk face on the left and that Altima. We're going 60 right now. The speed limit on the DVP is 90. We're 3 minutes from Eglinton, 7 minutes from Bloor, and 10 from the Gardiner, so that's not so bad. There's that same Altima again. Little FU. I like how he didn't signal when he jumped in front of me, but he does when he goes left. He knows I'm onto him. And look at that, not even past me. Oh, now he's behind me again. That guy has changed lanes like 8 times. All pretty dangerously, and he's not even gaining any ground. Oh, you gotta love people like that. Anywho, Lawrence Avenue eastbound exit coming up. Now he's trying to change back to the left lane. Does he have to pee or something? There he goes, sliding back into the right lane. No signaling, nothing. All that stupid driving to be 1 car ahead. This is a really nice underpass here. Winford Drive. I don't think I have ever covered Winford Drive on this channel, not even on the e-bike. I think I've crossed it before. That'll take you off onto Eglinton. moving decently now. We're going 90, which is the speed limit. So I think what I'll do is we'll get off at Yonge Street, completing the full circuit, and then there's a shell at York Mills and Yonge Street where I'll fill this thing up, and then I'll just take it straight to the Enterprise. This is where this becomes a really nice drive, especially with these fall colors. It's kind of diving down through the valley. And straight ahead, you can see the north end of downtown. That really tall building that should be in the center of the shot is One Bloor West. That's right at the intersection of Yonge and Bloor. This sign says, DVP moving well, will be on the Gardiner in 4 minutes. There's the CN Tower and the Financial District making an appearance, and we'll get what I think is kind of a goosebump-inducing view of the skyline when we hit the Gardiner. I think that would be the highlight of this particular drive. Get off here to get onto Bayview or Bloor Street. And this is the Bloor Viaduct. If we're lucky, we'll get to catch a subway train rolling by, but I don't think that's going to be the case. I must have crossed that dozens of times recording videos and streams. And now we're sandwiched between Riverdale Park West on the right and Riverdale Park East on the left. should be Gerrard Street, and then we'll be going under Dundas and then Queen. Gardiner Expressway West, stay left. Lakeshore Boulevard, keep left. I will not be going to Lakeshore. This is the Don River just on the right, and they are reconfiguring the mouth of the Don River as it feeds into the Portlands. It's a massive development project. There's that awesome skyline view straight ahead. So this is the Gardiner Expressway, another City of Toronto controlled and operated highway, although there are talks of the province taking this over along with the DVP. And you used to have a clear shot of the CN Tower here, but CIBC Square is kind of blocking half of it. So far, we have lucked out traffic-wise. It's the Scotiabank Arena on the right, formerly the ACC. Highway 427 via the Gardiner is 10 minutes away. So it's 12:43. We should be there by 12:53. There's the Sky Dome on the right making an appearance. This takes us by sort of the big three Toronto sports venues. BMO Field will be coming up on the left. I think it was maybe a month and a half ago when I went to Niagara Falls in Western New York. That was on a weekday, late morning I left. And this was just a sea of brake lights. This whole stretch was basically a big parking lot all the way into Mississauga. And just as I say that, we're hitting brake lights. trying to go as long as I can without braking, but I'm gonna have to give in. And just on the left is Exhibition Place. I don't know if the camera can pick it up, but BMO Field is just on the left. Sitting very close to where Exhibition Stadium used to be, where the Blue Jays originally called home back in 1977. This would be Dufferin Street, the very south end of Dufferin Street. Again, the speed limit on here I think is 90. We're going about 105 right now. I just go whatever the flow of traffic is. This one says Gardiner moving well to Highway 427, 6 minutes away. And we're about to go over the Humber River, the dividing line between the old city of Toronto and the former city/borough of Etobicoke. And running parallel to the Gardiner is Lakeshore Boulevard, so when they do close this down, which doesn't happen too often, traffic tends to divert onto Lakeshore. This stretch is where the famous Humber bump used to be. It was almost like a speed bump. If you're in a school bus and the driver didn't slow down, you'd go flying out of your seat. So this is the way leading into Mississauga, and on the left there's a building with lofts in it, and that actually went up in the late 90s. Used to kind of stick out like a sore thumb. Well, I guess in kind of a good way. I always thought it was a cool building. That was before the current condo boom took over. And running parallel to the highway on the north side, which is to the right, is the Queensway. And this is Islington Avenue. You can get off here and head up to Islington subway station, the second last line on the west, or station on the west side of line 2. Also a big Cineplex Odeon theater just here on the right. This one kind of replaced the one at Sherway Gardens. Pearson Airport via the 427. That's where we're going. 1 kilometer away. After we do a little dance with all these cars merging left. So if I were to have stayed left, just into Mississauga, the Gardiner turns into the Queen Elizabeth Expressway. That again becomes a provincially controlled highway. And that is Sherway Mall just up on the left. Now it's north on the 427, so I think we're over halfway around this Toronto highway circuit. And the 427 is flanked by the West Mall on the left and the East Mall on the right. My first job at a university at an office was in a place that used to exist called the Valhalla Executive Center, and that was on the West Mall. And ironically, my mom worked in a company at that same building. She had left before I started. I think that Metro Distribution Center is new. They used to have a much different looking facility there. It's a big grocery chain. Valhalla Road, go right. And Cloverdale Mall is on the right. We used to call it Clover Jail. I think that mall is actually up for redevelopment, actually. It's one of those sort of smaller regional malls. And the office building I used to work at would have been just here on the right, but it is gone. The entire office complex leveled for new developments going in. That is amazing to see that. It wasn't like an older, decrepit office building either. It was relatively modern. This is heading north up almost the very western edge of the city of Toronto. I think this building on the right here used to be a Canada Bread office with its its roofline painted red like that. Hey, we could get off at Eglinton here and I could ride or drive all the way to Midtown. No thanks. Alright, maybe I should have been in that section on the right there. There's a sign that says 401. I want to go to the 401. I'm pretty sure we can get there if I stay over here. If not, so be it. We'll figure it out. 401, there's a sign 1 kilometer. Alright. I come south down the 427, but I almost never drive north. Whenever I drive back into the city, I like to take the Gardiner. But we'll be going 401 east. Waiting for this solid line to turn into a dotted line. There we go. It almost sounds like it's raining lightly or something. Is that something is hitting the windshield? Very light snow flurries I can't see. What is that floating around? I've only ever had 2 incidents with a car. One, I was driving and I got rear-ended. And another one, I was on the 401 along this stretch. And there was a pickup truck in front of me, and something flew up out of the back of the pickup truck and struck the front of my vehicle right on the hood, and it left a big nasty dent. It was kind of like the front grille. And the insurance company that covered me at the time was the one I worked for. And I explained what happened, and they said, sounds like an at-fault collision, because I hit an object, and I had to tell them, no, the object hit me. The way that particular coverage was worded is, if it was on the ground and I hit it, I would be at fault. But if it hit me, it's a flying object, and that would be a comprehensive claim. And they were telling me there was no evidence that it didn't hit the ground first before it hit me. And I was like, what can I do? How can I prove that? It was the vehicle in front of me. It hit me in the air. It was such a stupid technicality. And I had to fight tooth and nail with my own company that I worked for to get them to fix that. So it just goes to show that it doesn't really matter who you are. Their first reaction is going to be to ding you with an at-fault. I'm going to move over left here. We can maybe get on the express. too late. We're going on the collectors. No biggie. Sometimes it's just a guessing game which one is faster. That's 101. Looks like I'm easily going to be able to return this vehicle by 2 p.m. That sign is kind of new there on the right. There's the 400 highway going north, and you could take that up to Canada's Wonderland. Even further, all the way up towards cottage country. Slower traffic, keep right. That truck made a sudden lane change there. Alright, let's hop on over to the Express here. Even though either one is moving just fine. This 401 is the most important artery in the province of Ontario. It goes from the Windsor-Detroit border all the way west to the Quebec border all the way to the east. It really ought to be paralleled by a high-speed rail line, but that's a spectacular failure of government that we don't have that. Dufferin Street is coming up, and Yorkdale Road, so that's right where Yorkdale Mall is. That'll just be on the right-hand side. And in 3 kilometers, we'll have to jump over to the collectors for the Avenue, Yonge, and Bayview off-ramps. Let's just get over to the right now while it's easily done. The risks are real. Do not smoke marijuana or consume it and drive. There's Yorkdale Mall on the right. Looks like I maybe would have been better off staying in that other lane. Oh well. This truck in front of this car isn't moving very well. And this is the Allen Road we're about to go underneath. Formerly the Allen Expressway or Spadina Expressway. At least that's what they intended it to be when they built it. Here we go. Yonge Street, keep right. This is Avenue Road. If I were going straight home, that would be the best way, or best way to get off. It looks like I've finally got the needle below the halfway mark in this thing. Over to the right. Yonge Street 1 kilometer away. And I've done it, the full circuit. Although I guess technically between this off-ramp and this on-ramp, there's a little stretch of the 401 that I missed. For all intents and purposes, I'm going to go ahead and say that was it. It's time to get some gas. I can peek at Strava. started right here on the right in the Yonge Corporate Center. I think I have to go left here at York Mills and then make a right into the Shell. And my gas tank is on the right. I don't see a little thing to release it. Maybe it doesn't have one. It's always fun when you're in a rental car and you can't figure out how to open the gas thingy. Just going straight in here. Prepay only on the right. That is fine. All right, let's figure this out and I shall be back. And we're back. That was 38 bucks for a trip to Niagara Falls and back, and then a lap around Toronto in terms of gas usage. This car was 68 bucks for the day plus tax. And I cannot see to my left well at all. As a pedestrian, this is one of the few times I excuse drivers when they block a crossing. Looks like the Subaru is kind of letting me through, but the cars around them aren't. So there's not much I can do. Dip back a little bit because I'm going to be here at least until there's a really clear break in traffic. Not a fun left turn. All right, it looks like there might be a chance. Out of nowhere, a Rolls Royce appears just as I was about to go left. Here we go. So we're just going to drive down to the Enterprise. Might as well leave the camera running while we complete a full journey and car drop off. Technically, I've still got this thing for 40 more minutes. So we'll be going through the Yonge Lawrence neighborhood and part of Yonge Eglinton. And this is where Yonge meets Yonge. This is Yonge Boulevard. Oh, that Popeyes on the left went under. Look at that. And there was a Popeyes on Danforth that closed earlier this year as well. I'm wearing my barefoot shoes, which is kind of like driving in socks. Just the whole concept of feathering the pedal is very different. What is that knocking noise? I have no idea what that is, but it seems to be coming from the dashboard somewhere. Now, if you go in the right lane, you have to deal with a very tight space because you've got these parked cars. And in the left lane, you sometimes get held up with cars turning left. All those tall towers off in the distance in the center of the shot are right at Yonge and Eglinton. Wondering if that was my camera knocking the windshield, but no. Oh well. Maybe I'll mention this to them when I drop the car off. Probably won't make the noise again and they'll think I'm nuts. What is that? Nothing to do with the door. Oh well. As long as this thing doesn't go nuclear by the time I get back to Enterprise, we should be good. That would drive me nuts though if it, if it was doing that the whole rental. Okay, knocking Volkswagen. I really hope the microphone is picking that up. So the street I need to drop this off on has been converted into a one-way street. That is Broadway, so I can either... I'm trying to think, I didn't really think about this. Last time I took a car back there, I came up Mount Pleasant. I think I could go left onto Erskine and then make a couple of rights to get onto Broadway. I think that'll be the plan of attack. I'm just thinking Erskine, there's... Yeah, there'll be a Starbucks right where I turn left. That is so bizarre. And I only live a few minutes walking from Enterprise, which is really good for me as I need to use a facility. Shouldn't have had that coffee before we started this, or I started this. Lululemon on the right, that's Briar Hill Avenue. This is Castlefield. Pretty sure this is Erskine here, where I want to go left. Let's get that blinker going to give people behind me lots of notice. He's turning right as pedestrians are crossing. That's what happens when you're so focusing on waiting for a gap in traffic. You forget to look for people. I probably could have gone there if I was being super aggressive. So I'll make a right and then a right. Is Redpath going to be the first right? I think so. This whole area is basically a giant construction zone. Here we are, north end of Redpath. Condos, condos, condos. It's probably the only way to describe this area. Dust, debris, loud noises all day long. Welcome to Yonge and Eglinton. Still, I really like this neighborhood. North Toronto Collegiate just on the left here. Oh, this person didn't press the button to use the crosswalk. This car is going the wrong way. Look at that. Oh, they're making a U-turn. And down into the parking garage. We got to go all the way down to P3. $3.50 per half hour, $17.50 daily max. Enterprise P3, go left. I just got to tiptoe through these things, tiptoe. Go left. Go left. Exit left, Enterprise right. We got to keep going down here. Look at this tight turn we've got to cut. I can't imagine doing this in a big vehicle. Well, it wasn't that bad, I guess. And we are here. Oh, this is only P2. We got to go to P3. P3 level parking, go right. I think Enterprise is just over on the left here. Here we go. Enterprise. I don't think I was going to cut that. I wonder how many customers have dinged at the vehicle on one of these pillars just as they dropped off their vehicle or picked it up. But either way, that is that for this ride. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me see if I can get the camera off the mount here. There we go. I shouldn't be focused. I don't have the other focus mode on, but I hope you enjoyed this ride around 4 major Toronto highways. And now we're dropping off the car at Enterprise. Let's flip that back around. Let me know your thoughts and comments down below. If you wish to support the channel, there's links to my Patreon and YouTube channel membership down in the description. I have an Instagram account at Johnny Strides, and there is a super thanks button appearing below the video if you wish to say thanks that way. Anywho, that's it. I gotta return this thing. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Yoink.